What happens to Kissy Missy at the very end after she helps the main character and her best friend Poppy, with whom she fought against the prototype in order to end his retribution and end all his successors?
No! We're coming! Just hold on! Come on, go faster!
Hello everyone, you are on the channel Huggy Mythic, and today we will try to analyze all the most popular facts, theories and assumptions about what happened to Kissy Missy at the very end of Poppy Playtime 3, but first, let's superficially analyze the Hour of Joy, touch on some monsters, including our Kissy Missy. But we will not start with the Hour of Fun, but with the transportation of Kissy Missy to the main building. As we can see from the old record, Kissy Missy is completely calm, she is not aggressive, no one orders her anything, no one touches her, she stands absolutely calmly, after which, according to all the rules of the Playtime Co. company, she is loaded onto a train to transport her to the main building. We can also note the rather calm state of Kissy Missy both during the trip and during her transportation to the main building, although she is in an open state at very high speeds, which for someone may already be a kind of test, but this is not the point. After her arrival, we are immediately shown footage where Kissy Missy's hands are still tied, but the main fasteners have already been removed. Be sure to remember this moment. We also see that it is covered with blood splatters as well as the trailer itself and in general everything around it. If you look closer, you can see that her mouth is covered in blood as well as her hands. There are bloody bodies nearby, so we can assume that since the Hour of Fun has already begun, she took part in it and killed these employees. But most importantly, let's remember again that it is in the same position as it was when it was transported to the main building. Yes, some fasteners have been removed from it, but the fasteners on the arms still remain. Her hands and mouth are smeared with blood, especially consider Kissy Missy's mouth and the bodies next to her. The bodies are absolutely intact, or rather all the limbs of these employees are in place, so the assumption that Kissy Missy bit off something to someone immediately disappears. Now let's look at the main entry from the Hour of Joy that Poppy shows and explains to us in conclusion. As we can see, all monsters become very aggressive and attack absolutely everyone, that is, absolutely everyone, both employees, adults, and ordinary children. What motivates all the monsters that were children's joy and happiness to abruptly start attacking all these people, including, again, innocent children? We will consider this in the next video where we will fully analyze what really happened in the Hour of Joy. We will watch the recording further and we can notice our Kissy Missy, who is initially in exactly the same position in which she was brought to the main building. But when unpacking it, something begins to manipulate her, or she decides to attack the employees herself and cause them the most serious damage, or rather end their lives. We can also notice that there were 3 employees in the frame who had to unpack it and deliver it to the main building. But something is happening inside Kissy Missy which makes her attack 2 employees first and inflict severe damage on them with blows and then chase after the 3rd employee. Also note that Kissy Missy breaks out of her seat and runs away from the unloading area, but also note that on the recording of the transportation cameras we are shown an already bloody Kissy in the same position as during transportation. Head of the company, some scientists, or someone who had access to the cameras made a recording so that it would not be clear that it was Kissy who attacked, but then why show all the bloody scene if you could just finish unloading? You might also think that it was a prototype that got access to the cameras and just cut off the moment of Kissy Missy's attack on innocent employees. After all, his goal was not to bring publicity to this, and the video of the transportation could later be in the public domain. And the second question is, why did Kissy, after running after the 3rd employee, decide to go back to the unloading place? There are 2 main assumptions here. Either someone ordered her again, who prompted her to attack the employees, or after the attack, she was able to come back to herself and return to the place and just come to terms with what happened. Everything that we have been talking about now will help us to approach the last scene in a more reasoned way in order to find out what really could have happened to Kissy Missy behind our eyes. We can identify two theories about what happened to her. The first theory is that Kissy Missy restrained herself all the time since the hour of fun, but sometimes showed signs of aggression. We can notice these signs when the main character leaves the sweet home house, after which Kissy Missy jumps on top of him. Fortunately for the main character, Poppy stops Kissy and prevents her from attacking the main character. This theory is almost immediately dismissed because what was the point of her holding it all back, and it was in the last of the scenes, namely when she disappears from sight for us to show a real aggressive self. Also, if she really became aggressive, what would prevent her from attacking us as it was, for example, with the same Huggy Wuggy? It is here that this theory disappears, so the only thing that remains is that someone attacked her. But who could it be? Catnap is finished, all the other monsters seem to have died too, everyone died except the prototype. It really boils down to the fact that it was the prototype that attacked Kissy Missy. After all, it was his plan to take revenge on the company. He, along with Catnap, killed everyone who got in their way, just like Kissy Missy. He chose the best moment when neither Poppy nor the main character could help Kissy and attacked. Perhaps it was through the nearest open door that the prototype attacked her. There are theories that someone else did it, but it also disappears immediately. After all, there would be extraneous footsteps, that is, steps other than Kissy, but we only hear her footsteps and no doubling.
Come on, go faster!
Of course, maybe it was some new monster that we can see in the new part. Or perhaps it was someone who had no legs left at all, or rather Dog Day, who was captured by small animals. But unfortunately, this option also disappears because we would have heard either a rustle from his body or his hands with which he moves. The prototype remains the only option that could really attack and attacked her. The prototype understood that Kissy Missy was the biggest of the remaining ones and only she could be a problem, so he had to attack her when no one could help her, so he did. But then you can think further, what stopped him from attacking further both the main character and Poppy? After all, their main and in fact the only defense has most likely been defeated, and he can only finish with two because these are the only ones who want to prevent the completion of his plans. The only question that remained unclear to me was why couldn't Kissy Missy go with Poppy and the main character? After all, we ourselves could have pressed this lever about the need and then everyone would have remained alive. Perhaps I will choose the answer to this question from your comments. Bye everyone.